What's going on, y'all? My name's Bless. I've been surrounded by hip-hop my entire life and literally grew up in the music business. Behind the scenes, beyond the music, the industry, and the streets, these are our stories. Join me as we explore the culture that defined our generation. This is the Moment of Truth. Yes, I am blessed. This is the Moment of Truth podcast. Let Me Know is here, and today we have CJ Fleming in the building. Welcome. Thank you for coming through.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys, honestly, for having me here.
Respect. Thank you for joining us today, my man.
For real, man.
So CJ is a name that I've been hearing buzzing in the scene for a while, although we've never actually had a chance to formally meet. I feel like we have a bunch of friends in common.
Definitely. We should have actually met.
Yes, we should have met many times. I don't know why we haven't.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know why we haven't. The first time I heard CJ's name, it was through a friend of both of ours, Dirt Work.
Right.
Shout out to Dirt. I remember you working with him early on. And then I heard that you were doing a lot of work with Lunis.
Lunis. Yeah, that's big bro right there, yeah.
Speak to me about your relationship with those two.
Lunis, actually, I met him back in like 2014. I remember he reached out to me. I had put out like a mixtape called whatever. Like I don't really want to give out the title. Whatever. It's like just this old project that I put out.
We're talking about Lunis. Like I got 5 on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
You're talking about the Loonies?
Sorry.
You talking about the Loonies? I got 5 on it.
Right? Is that
No, hell's no. Let me. Come on, bro.
My bad.
Come
What is
on.
it?
Oh, so
I should press the eject button in your chair right now. You're canceled. You're fired.
Okay, you want to
fired.
for a minute? Continue. I'm sorry.
No.
Lunis is
he reached out to me actually like a few years ago and told me
But maybe hold on, let me slow you down. Maybe you could educate
him
my associate here on who
he's a
Lunis
Montreal
is and his
producer
importance
first
to
and
the scene.
foremost. Like he has a very distinct sound. Like Lunis is not your regular type of sound. You gotta come correct. Like like this guy is theatrical and he's like super amazing and heavily talented, you know? Like his vision, like to me beats anyone like sometimes, because like he just like he knows how to create his own world and bring you in it. Wow. You know, like he produced for Kanye, Lil Wayne, I'm pretty sure at a point. You know, he had Mike Dean on his last album. Dope. You know, which was
legendary,
crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
You know what I'm saying? But
Mike Dean's one of my favorites. Do you know who Mike Dean is? Let me. No. Or am I gonna have to beat you to death with this mic?
Today's just an education.
It's cool though. Yeah,
I'm just teasing.
You know, and
Lunis, I feel like started to buzz around like the whole K-Tranada movement. Like he got very strong after K popped off and that kind of vibe.
I was being introduced to like the local scene of rap at that time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like when Lunis was doing all that with K-Tran, I guess, you know, when he clicked up with High Class and Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
And,
we had Tommy Cruise on
they were on this like photo press run, and like that. I remember that being one of the times where like I was really starting to release and pay a lot of attention on what I was doing in the city, and you know what I mean. But yeah, like Lunis reached out to me, told me I had an international sound. We met up,
collaborated,
and collaborated. Made our first song. He put it out. Then he told me he wanted to like do an album and stuff. So like, you know, we traveled a bit. Like we went to LA, we went to New York.
Dope.
You know, Toronto, everywhere to like just catch a vibe, you know, like and get the album done.
Must have been an eye-opening experience for you coming from Montreal, you know, getting an opportunity to see, you know, what's going on outside of our city and kind of give you a different perspective.
Mm-hmm. He introduced me to that, definitely.
Absolutely. So did you guys end up working on a whole project, EP, or just did a couple singles?
Like for the both of us together? Nah, we spoke about it, you know, like, but like it hasn't been like in the progress as of late. Like he's just been doing his thing with with tonight, I guess. Hudson Mohawk. Yeah, shout out to Hudson Mohawk.
Absolutely. That's dope. That's dope. So what's your background? How do you find yourself in this crazy game?
My background. I mean, damn. How do I find myself in this game?
Did you grow up with a musical background? What part of the city did you grow up in?
I'm not like musically trained or anything, but you know, like I grew up in like a home where there was a lot of reggae playing, a lot of hip hop when I would like go out of, you know, what I was comfortable with, you know, like when I would be outside and stuff, like with family or something, I'd be introduced to like certain hip hop songs, television, like I guess like I'd be tapping in when I'm a youngin', you know, like
Absolutely.
you know, BET and MTV, like Much Music, I guess, all that stuff. Like, yeah, there was a lot of hip hop that I would gravitate to most.
Like who?
You know?
Who was some of your favorites coming up as a kid? Big
As a kid?
inspirations.
Heavy one was 50. Yeah.
Reoccurring theme. A lot of the cats that we speak to, I find 50 had a big impact on them.
It's like it's undeniable almost. Like it was just a moment that like was super raw for like
his impact
hip-hop.
was massive.
You know what I mean? Like as a kid, I'd be rapping stuff I knew I wasn't supposed to be rapping, and it just felt good.
Hell yeah.
It's crazy, you know? Like
I watched an interview with Russ, you know Russ, on Drink Champs, and Russ was saying that 50 was a huge inspiration to him. And he's very melodic too. So he, you know, he was giving 50 kind of props for
being melodic.
Yeah, like bringing the melodic shit to the forefront.
Absolutely. He's right about that. You know, when I heard that, I definitely agreed. 'Cause you know, like rap isn't just all bars and just like being like you're not just talking these days.
Yeah, of course.
Like you're really
Your voice
actually
is an instrument. You got to ride it.
You're kind of singing throughout, and we're calling it rap. You know, so sometimes you know, like that's what it plays out as. But yeah, that's the beauty of it. Like I fuck with.
I love that you say that. So initially, as a kid, when you started to rhyme, were you singing? Were you a spitter? And then did it evolve into kind of what you're doing now? Because I checked out some of your stuff. You're very melodic as well. So how did that kind of come about? Did you move with the times, or were you like bars early?
I was crazy, bro. Like honestly, I shout out to like what I had to like go through to
Respect.
be like at this point in my production process, you know, and like my skill set, I guess, with music and like what I know I can do. Cause like it took a while. Like I was like over a decade, you know, like I remember
Gotta perfect
you know
your
what I'm
craft.
saying? Like, so just playing with it for so long, you know, like at first I was very, very like influenced by Lil Wayne. So I'd want to rap. Like I wanted to just go back to school and rap to my friends and shit. You know, so I'd be raw, like super raw.
So
like,
you started
like
as a
too
spitter.
raw.
You started as a spitter.
You know, like yeah, too raw. Like didn't know my voice kind of raw. You know, so like with time, I just tried different stuff that I didn't even know what I was trying. I just like felt like me. Like I was just being myself, you know, like
As
at
you
all
should.
times.
As you should as an
you know?
artist. Yeah.
But like just different versions of me, and like you hear it in the music, and until I finally like heard consistency in myself
And found your sound.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely like what happened.
That's amazing. What part of Montreal did you grow up in?
I grew up.
Seems like he's
Saint-
been around. Yeah, you got to look there.
Moved around a lot.
Saint Laurent, like East End a bit, like Cover 2, I should say.
Sandler.
That's like at the very beginning, like when I was in elementary and stuff like that. And then I went to Laval. We moved around to Laval. That's when I started rapping. was when I was in Laval and stuff. Then we moved to the West, and like now I'm just like kind of like everywhere.
You are the city now.
Yeah,
The city
so.
is you.
That's dope. So 10 years you've been building up your skill set, getting your confidence up when it comes to making records in the studio as a songwriter. Now you have a new project. Talk to me about the new project.
Mascara Tears. Yeah, man.
He's wearing the sweater.
Merch
is available?
What's the concept behind the title? What does that mean to you?
It's Mascara Tears to me. Well, it's a title that I had a very long time ago. Funny enough. And I remember just like going through like the experiences that I was going through. I was like, okay, I need to hold this title for something something special. And I just held it. I held it until I actually met Lance. When I met Lance, I was like, yo, I know exactly what we're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like I already like knew like what I was gonna do. Like I needed to get this album off my chest, and I knew what title it was already. But I hadn't experienced what I needed to experience to be able to come up with the album yet.
Makes sense.
So like by that time, like everything was going down, and like, you know, Mascara Tears to me is just like you know, like I read this somewhere. It was like mascara enhances tears when being shed. You know, and I felt that was deep, and it's just like, don't be like, I'm not saying you're doing the wrong thing, because like I love the beauty of it, but like you can't be fake with yourself, and because you know you get into spills and then boom, like it's not pretty. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Life's just not pretty. So like, just be yourself.
Or maybe when you're not real with yourself, beautiful things fall apart.
A lot of it plays with it, you know. That's like dope. And I just found my comfort with that, and crafted something that like Lance helped me a lot with. Like, you know, he like kind of brought the best version of.
For the people who might not know, maybe explain who Lance is.
To Michael Lance, a Toronto legend, in my opinion, a producer, award-winning producer. You know, like he's been like a brother to me for the past, like, ever since we met. Actually, you know, he kept it real, transparent with me from the get. So like, I never had no reason to not trust him.
Dope.
You know, so like that's why I put all my trust in him when it came to like music
direction.
Yeah, definitely. And he put his trust in me as well. Like, you know, when it came to that as well, because like my performance, when it like, I'm very, I wouldn't say I'm tough to work with at all. You know, like I just feel like I'm disciplined in a certain way. So when you have that same work ethic as me, then boom, you know, like
it'll work well.
Something actually picks up consistently, and then boom, you have a project. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what we were going for.
Conceptually, music-wise, vibe-wise, what were you going for? What kind of flavor were you? What was the goal musically?
It's funny. One of the stuff we wrote down on the boards was no trap drums. Hell no.
So you wanted to come untypical.
We had to throw in some trap drums. We just like threw, because like I was already accustomed to the trap, but like, you know, like I wanted to be different, but like we slapped it in just to like you know, turn it up. Like I like trap. I love trap music. I love all type of music, you know, and you know, to say no trap drums on the board, that's just a challenge. I like challenges. You know, like that makes you come up with different music along the way, and then you could like add actually what's really missing.
You
And
can
then
readjust
boom.
after once you put the idea down. But vibe wise, I'm because I'm guessing a lot of people who are gonna check this out haven't heard your project yet. If we were to put you on a playlist, who would you put yourself there with? Vibe wise, are we talking a Travis Scott vibe, a Harry Fraud vibe?
Probably Drizzy. Put me with like Kanye, I guess.
There you go.
Like,
Those are some good names.
who else? You got Sean. Sean down. Like.
So very melodic, and you're going back and forth between the spitting and the singing.
Yeah, definitely. I like. Why not? Those are my my top inspirations.
Absolutely.
Like, definitely. Like.
Absolutely. I'm curious to check it out. Any collaborations? Any features aside from the producer Lance?
No collabs for this album. We actually focused really hard on lyrics and vocal production and all of that too. I really there was like a collaboration idea that was actually a plan, but it like right away it was just like dismissed. You just stick to the plan. Like we already had the plan. We just gotta do it.
Well, I find there's a big difference too now because we live in a space that it's all like singles oriented, right? It's a singles market like it was in the 50s where very few people drop full projects. And in order for it to be a full project, I feel like it needs to be cohesive. So sometimes I think it is a great idea rather than loading down your project with features and beats from 20 producers, that'll just feel like a mixtape. It'll just feel like a bunch of singles put together.
Right.
So you kind of went the Russ route where you kind of just wanted to just do everything across the board and just
Keep it
have
in-house.
a cohesive project.
Exactly.
So let me ask you some tougher questions, some realer shit. Let's go a bit deeper. I'm curious, what's some of the biggest challenges you faced putting this project together or even just getting to the point that you are now as an artist? Because I'll be real with you. I don't know if you know my background, but few people know the city and this game better than me. And I know firsthand from being an artist, the challenges, it's tough. From people having shitty work ethics, from dealing with a lot of people who are maybe have good intentions but are a little bit delusional. How have you managed to kind of claw yourself out of that and move past that to keep being an artist for 10 years,
To keep
it's not easy.
It's definitely not easy.
What are some of the big challenges you faced?
Some of the big challenges I face is just to, I guess, be at peace with my own pace. Because you see a lot that you're inspired off. And like you feel like, and then you're driven by it in the moment, but it's not what you're supposed to be on.
So you're talking about maybe not rushing projects out, not feeling a pressure to deliver every 6 months or once a year.
Yeah, like anything, literally. Like
Taking your time with it.
It could be anything, bro. It could be like, oh shoot, like maybe I should start doing reggae music right now. Like, like maybe I should, like, I don't know, like some people are, I feel like you should just be at peace with your own pace, and like that's when you'll understand that like you don't have to. It's all love. I feel after that, like because no one's, like I don't know. Another challenge I could probably give you like that's been tough is just like building a team around you that you can trust.
Probably the toughest.
Yeah, that is very tough.
Especially in a city where, funding is limited for English music. How have you been able to maneuver around that?
Well, you have to not be afraid of starting at zero again. Like that's not like some people start at zero and then they give up. A lot of people.
I agree with you. It's so important to push through, and if you have a dream, if you have a goal, you know where you're trying to get, you're gonna have to readjust constantly. I saw this dope ass. Everybody should check it out. This guy, I forget his name, but he was interviewing Tim Grover. He was Jordan's trainer for 15 years.
Shooting specialist.
No, I think he was
Grover was
his
shooting
physio.
Physio is everything?
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, he was a great motivator, and he worked with Jordan, he worked with Kobe. He has 13 rings. Okay, 13 rings. So he is the GOAT of what he does. And he was saying that, in his opinion, that there were athletes who were greater than Jordan and Kobe that he worked with, just athletics wise. But it was the mindset that made those guys the ultimate champions. It was the mindset that made them beasts. Right. And he said his top 4 things is talent, competitiveness, drive, and being resilient.
Being resilient.
Okay.
Meaning being able to adapt and adjust and adapt and adjust constantly.
Resiliency.
Improving your game.
CJ, can I give you a nice compliment?
Yeah.
Your people reached out and asked if we can make something happen. And I just want to commend you on the channels that you took to get in contact. You followed me a couple weeks ago. I followed back, and I normally don't do that. But it was just something about, there was an intrigue there, I guess. So young artists, people in the game know that this man's doing it the way you're supposed to. Is like a warm call happened, and then everything kind of just came about afterwards. And it was
bro, I appreciate that, honestly.
Very cool. Very cool.
We appreciate you reaching
and
out.
And I was watching, like there was a night like where I discovered y'all, and like I just like went off on like
respect and
your whole channel. You feel me? So like,
thank you, brother.
Yeah,
appreciate it, man.
I fuck with it, so I had to show some love.
Thank you. It gives us some good, I guess, like an ego boost or whatever you want to call it, because like artists are coming to us, and I love that. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Well, we built this platform to have, a space that we can have real conversations with people who are serious about their craft and their art and deserve to be covered. Because the game that we're in is so numbers based now, and we know that the numbers do not always reflect who should be covered.
You need media.
You know what I mean?
You need a media.
You know what I mean? And I think that there's a serious lack of curation, right? Because everybody says, oh, well, if your numbers are good, you go on the playlist. But what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right?
Exactly.
And there has to be a starting point. There has to be a farm team system, some sort of curation to be like, this is dope. Y'all need to check this out. And once upon a time, that was the job of a DJ. It wasn't to play all the records we already know. It was to break records.
And break superstars, right? Like,
bingo, right? It's to be like, yo, if y'all fuck with hip hop, you need to listen to this. I'm fucking whoever, Funk Flex, Clue. This is the new shit. Yeah, I'm gonna give you
When's the last time has that happened? When's the last time that
you know what happened? What happened is radio decided to milk the fuck out of advertising, and the advertisers were labels. And this idea of the DJ being strangled, that's what came into play.
Right.
They gave the DJ, they said, this has to be played 4 times a day. This has to be played 6 times a day.
Exactly.
We don't care what record you believe in. If the label's not paying us to push it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's, I believe, when the art of DJing, commercial DJing went down. You know what I'm saying? And
when I got a little
art.
taste of that little magic formula you just mentioned, so, like I had this record way back in like 2015, whatever, and it was like spinning, and I remember, do you guys know Goon Tribe?
of course,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they picked up on the record and started spinning it.
they're good people.
Everywhere, and like that was the club runs. They were doing the breaking the artists.
That's right.
In the clubs.
They've always been very
and they were doing it
supportive.
locally. So I have to shout them out real.
Right?
Shout out Jericho. Shout out Chops.
Yeah.
We actually definitely need to have them on.
Yeah, they just
sometime.
opened a restaurant.
Yeah, shout out to Ed too.
We'll have them on to talk about their new project, and good friends of mine.
There you go.
It's so important because if there's no, and another thing is a lost art, A&R. Every hip hop project that we
So funny. I was just talking about this last night.
every hip hop project that we loved as kids, from 50 to you name it, had a professional cat whose entire job it was to facilitate the right features, to sit and help the artist bring their concepts to life in a timely manner and in a proper way. If you have nobody who's sitting, curating the direction of a project, the fucking entire heavy lifting of writing, performing, everything falls on an artist, and not every player can play every position on a team, if that makes sense, if that's the right metaphor. Let the artist focus on their strong suit. Your strong suit might be, melodic and bars. Let CJ focus on what CJ does. There needs to be other people coming to the table being like, yo, this shit would be fire. Yo, let's do this skit. Yo, let's extend the intro. And a prime example of that was Puff, right? Big would have never, ever, ever done a record with Bone Thugs if it wasn't for Puff. There would have been no Juicy, no One More Chance, because Big, like every other MC at the time, just wanted to do that mixtape murder shit. So a lot of people, and I was watching, you guys know who D. Angeletti is, the mad rapper? D. was part of the Hitmen, which was a crew of producers that
He had a high-pitched voice. He had a couple tracks.
And he's dope. And he was on, I think it was Breakfast Club. I was checking him out. You guys should check that out as well. And he was saying that a lot of people don't credit Puff for being a producer's producer because they think because he doesn't play keys and he doesn't bang on the MPC and loop tracks that he's not a producer. And D. as being a very well-respected producer from back in the day in the industry, he did fucking All About the Benjamins and all kinds of, colossal records, the Locks, you name it. He said, yo, fuck that. Puff is a producer's producer because he was the guy who came with the vision. You don't have to be able to play the piano. If you can translate it to a guy like D. you're just as much of a producer as he is, which comes back to the whole A&R discussion.
Exactly like why I was waiting for you to get back to that. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly coming back to that. If there isn't someone helping to carve a path for the projects are going to sound very different. And that's why we've heard the degeneration of hip hop in many ways. If you think that Drake, who I'm sure is a major inspiration to you and to us all, sits there and puts everything
Not so
together
much to
from
me.
A to Z, his projects would never come out as fucking polished and banging as it is. It takes a team. It's always a team effort.
I hear you.
And the stronger the team, the better you can play.
That's true.
So with no A&R playing their position and the DJs refusing to break records based on them being like, yo, I'm a DJ. I've been doing this 20 years. This shit is hot. CJ needs to be on this playlist. The people need to hear this record tonight. This shit could mix well with a Drake record or whatever. But they won't do it. Why? Because everybody looks for an easy win these days.
What's the easy one?
The easy win is play the bar mitzvah set. Back to back. Kiki, do you love me? Play it. Boom, boom, all win. I could go to a birthday party of 40-year-old women and play Madonna all night. They're going to be like, wow, this guy's the best DJ. But if you're not educating, you're not pushing the culture forward.
Exactly.
Which leads me to my next
and
question.
You're not, exactly. You're not educating at all, man. What's your next question, man?
Your inspiration for sticking to the music, for putting these projects together. You must know by now that this is probably one of the least lucrative things you can do at the stage that you're at. There's not a lot of money in this shit yet. Hopefully, God willing, you can breach the Canadian ceiling or the Quebec ceiling.
Right.
What motivates you? What drives you to keep doing this? When I know damn well, no matter who you are, you must be going out of pocket to make this happen. You are spending money to do this.
You're talking about doing a project and not just doing singles or just music in general.
Making music your full-time.
My full-time?
If it is your full-time, I don't know.
Well, if that's,
I haven't asked
that's
you
what
that.
you're asking, bro, it's out of passion. Purely, like, like nothing I could tell you like I'd probably do besides this. You know what I'm saying? Like
I know the feeling,
there ain't a
but I
damn
gotta
thing
ask
I
you.
could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you like, yeah, like
But what keeps
my whole
motivating you?
life, like I just been like thinking
but
about music.
As an artist on the business side, you know, we face endless rejection, right?
Right.
We have 10 conversations. Everybody's like, yeah, we should do this. One or two come out. And out of those one or two out of the 10 conversations that come to fruition, difficult, you know, to deal with people with shitty work ethics. What keeps you driven to
What
keep doing
keeps
that
me going,
when there's no
bro?
money in it? Yet.
When there's no money in
Yet.
it,
And I
yeah.
say yet because I hope for you there will be.
Right. What keeps me going is just, I guess, just the fact that I'm still at this level.
You're too deep in.
Yeah, and it's almost like fun. It's like, you know, my boy tells me this all the time, like, yo, treat everything like it's your last, because today might be your last. You know?
Yep.
And like when he tells, when I wake up with that mentality and I treat it like it's my last, like, yo, like I treat it like it's my last, and that's how you get the best performance. That's how you stand out.
That's beautiful.
And just like
I love
come
what you
about
just said.
doing your day. You know,
That's a great
like,
name for a project. Like it's my last.
That is. That reminds me of that Big Sean record with Chris Brown. Though I had to put that in there, but yeah, that would be a good title. My last. Yeah, man. Just always feeling like, yeah, like today's it. Like something's gonna happen.
Being
like,
present in the moment.
and I guess like, yeah, being present in the moment too. Yeah, like that's actually one of the hardest things to do though. Cause like I'm very like I like to speak things into existence too. Like not to say that in a deep fashion or any way, but like, you know, like you speak things into existence. It's like it's not that hard. Like you want to do something, say you're gonna do it, and actually do it. Like, you know, like if you know that it's impossible for you to like, if you know it's not in your position to do something, you can still speak about something into existence. You know, like could be someone else, like whatever the case is. Like if,
The Knicks being good again, right?
you know what
Please.
I'm saying? Like don't just throw negative energy all over it. Like just like have positive energy with that. Like I guess I believe in myself too much.
I don't think that's possible.
You know, like
It's a great thing to believe in yourself. Really what I'm getting at is because it is always a long shot, what keeps you driven to keep at this constantly?
Definitely.
And I guess it would be the passion, right?
Yeah, bro, it started that way. That's why I'm not worried about it dying. I'm actually so happy. You know, like I know like what it is. Like music, what? Like,
You're not focused on the result. You just want to make great music.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's very liberating when you can do that. Because then you could just focus on
the
being
result,
an artist.
The result aspect of things only came after. Like I understand that. You know, like we have to get these results, bro. Like don't get it twisted. But like I know where it came from. It came from a long time of understanding that, oh shit, I actually have a passion. Like, okay, let's go. Like, you know, pick it up. You know, like
I know the feeling, brother.
Feel me?
Speak to me a little bit about your studio rituals, your writing process. Take us into that world.
I could be in like any moving environment. I feel like that works best for me sometimes. Like when I'm moving.
Are you somebody who likes to live with the track, pen your shit, and come in and lay it? Or do you want to kind of be spontaneous and create it on the spot, sitting with the producer?
Both.
Whatever comes first.
I work always. There's no time to stop. I might come up with the best line right here, right now. You know what I mean? So I'm always like, yeah, just in my head with it. Like, I stay conscious of like when it's time to deliver, like like you know, when it's time to cut records, it's time to cut a song. But like, you know, like I time those moments because I know when. But like there's the process before that. I feel when it comes to a collective of songs, so an album per se, because that's my thing. You know, like I really like making a strong body of work. Like no matter where the industry goes, like I don't really care about that.
You want to stick to that format.
Like singles are cool. Like I'm dropping singles, 2 singles, 3, whatever. Like if I have to, but like an album, like that's really what I love to do. I like to write albums, create a narrative and a story. Like, you know, like
conceptualize.
Like, yeah, and then grow. Like you see growth.
Very important. Very important.
Yeah.
You know, some of my favorite MCs when I was a kid, you think of a guy like Redman, who became better and better and better every project. Like Redman now, although he's, you know, less relevant than he was once upon a time when he was on Def Jam or whatever, is a fucking beast at this age. And that speaks to, you know, people who are passionate about their craft. Black Thought is a fucking beast right now.
Redman respected it the
Royce
whole way
the 5'9" is still a beast right now. And this is late in their career. They kept on improving their craft. So to me, as an artist, that's always something I've aspired to be like. You can never, you know, the minute that you think you've arrived artistically. I'm not even talking about success-wise numbers. I just mean artistically.
Right.
Is the second you fall off.
No, you never do. Like think of Dr. Dre. He's I bet you he's eating himself out right now.
Oh, hell yeah.
Pause.
Super pause.
That's cool, but I bet you like he's driving himself crazy right now, like trying to figure out like what the next
move
thing, and he's like such a legend in the game already.
But that's what makes this shit fun. That you're forever chasing the perfect
that's
joint.
the passion side of it though.
Absolutely. Did you record most of the project in Toronto?
Everything, yeah.
Are you spending more time in Toronto than Montreal these days? What's your situation?
I'm more. It's holiday season.
Came back to be with the fam.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm trying to get back out there, but also, you know, travel other places like New York. Or some shit like that.
Record all over, as many places as you can.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. Like,
and sometimes the best way when you're coming up as an artist is to hang out at certain studios where you know bigger people are doing sessions. That's how a lot of projects happen by accident. A lot of records happen by accident that, you know, you're in one room, they're in studio B, they overhear, piece, introduce, and then you play them a joint and they're like, that shit's fire.
Yeah.
It's important to be there.
Yeah, it's like catching a goddamn Pokemon, bro. I feel you.
That is the Pokemon, the Pokemon Go of hip hop. What's the next step? What's the next step for you? You're releasing this project. It's out right now.
Yeah, it's out. Mascara Tears is out. It's out everywhere.
All platforms.
Yeah, we're promoting it right now.
You guys doing any physical merch or some signed kind of stuff?
Got the sweater on.
That they can
the
get?
merch. It's not dropped. It hasn't dropped yet.
Create the buzz, homie.
It's coming. It's definitely coming though.
Where do we find you?
A lot of people are asking me for it.
Tell me your Instagrams for the people who don't know.
CJ Flemings. CJ Flemings. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music.
At CJ Flemings. Where does the name come from, CJ?
CJ, actually, it's an abbreviation of my first and middle name, so which is Kiran Javid. Yeah, that's my name. My first and middle name, I should
Real
say.
name, no
and
gimmicks.
then Flemings is my last name.
Okay, so that's your real name.
Yeah, I just kept it like that.
Perfect.
Yeah, definitely. I went through phases already trying to like figure out.
What was some of your early artist names? Come on. Give me one. Give me one embarrassing name.
I want to hear one from Bless. If CJ's got to do it, I want to hear one from you.
Okay. Give me one.
I had one was Baby C.
Baby C.
Yeah, some
That
people.
was your
don't
pimp
know.
alter ego.
The real one's going on that one. Yeah.
Nice.
All right,
I've been
Bless.
blessed since I'm about 12 years old, but before that, I was like Shorty Rock because I used to be a b-boy.
Shorty Rock.
Yeah, like Shorty or whatever. But then Shorties became girls in hip hop, so I had to change
you
it
like
to Bless.
switch it up?
Because I was
Nah,
just a
bruh.
short kid, right? So I was like, yo, I got to switch it up.
Oh, okay. No, sure,
But that's when I was like
sure.
11. I was actually
It was
very
rocking
short.
at the time. Yeah.
Still kind of a fly name, but
Right.
Shorty Rock. I just felt it'd be
Nah,
cool for
definitely.
like
I fuck
a
with this
chick though.
Shorty Rock.
It was, I was a b-boy, so I was
Shorty
into
Rock.
that. I was
What?
into that. But then it was Bless. It was initially going to be like Blessed
You definitely blessed now.
or Bless, Blessed or Bless. So then I said, Bless sounds like more of a title. No, sorry. Blessed sounded like a title. Bless sounded like
Like a
it
name.
could kind of be a name.
Right.
Right.
Well, blessed is that a project?
It should be.
That definitely should be.
It should be. It should be. Maybe the next one. Maybe the next one. I was working on a project, called
yeah?
Loose Diamonds for a long time because it was just an EP, just a collection of loose joints that I felt were, gems.
Word.
And then fucking
Who are some of the producers on there?
A-Rab Music, Static Selector, couple people. Of course, my partner in crime, Mano Sound Machine, who I do most of mostly everything with. We did some shit with Rough Sound. Shout out Rough Sound.
Yeah,
For
for
sure,
sure.
a guru verse sitting somewhere.
There might be somewhere.
Ooh, definitely.
Shout out to Preem. They just put the Gangstar record out with an interesting joint last on the Gangstar projects called Bless the Mic.
Boom.
So I'll leave it there. We'll have more
Okay.
discussions about that. But then fucking shout out Adam Sandler. He just came out with a movie where he's like a scummy jeweler in New York and he calls it Uncut Gems.
Okay.
Right. And then
Word.
so then like there's this like theme coming back. So I don't know. Maybe I'll modify the name. Maybe I'll keep it. I don't know.
What's your favorite Adam Sandler movie?
That's a great question, man. I actually really like what's the one when he's a washed up rock star and Vanilla Ice is in it. You know which one I'm talking
Vanilla
about?
Ice? Are you
Vanilla
talking about?
Ice is
Was that with? Who was that with?
it's
Oh,
semi-recent. It's like from like 7 years ago or 5-6 years ago.
Shit, I wouldn't know.
He was a washed up rock star, and
Wasn't Will Ferrell in it?
I don't think so. No, I'm pretty. Vanilla Ice plays his brother, and he's a washed up rock star who's a
He
total
was wearing
fuck.
like a red suit.
I think so. No, I think you're thinking about when he gets his heart broken and he gets left at the altar.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
though.
I know what you're talking about. This one was like semi-recently. He was a washed-up rock star, and his brother was Vanilla Ice, and he was a fuck-up as a dad, and his whole family hated him.
Okay.
And he like came back into his kid's life, and he fucked somebody's grandmother. It was actually the first time you saw Adam Sandler not being PG-13, and it was fucking hilarious. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Adam Sandler, and
Yeah, me too.
a lot of people don't know Adam Sandler is a super duper hip hop head, and we met him early when I used to tour with Guru. He came backstage. We were in Toronto
Dope.
and smoked one with Guru, and then we bumped into him in New York a couple times here and there, and he was always like, "Yo," and we'd have drinks and shit. Adam Sandler is a big hip hop head.
No, definitely. My favorite Adam Sandler movie is Big Daddy.
Big Daddy's a great one.
Yeah, I love, like it's just classic.
Also, Little Nicky.
Little Nicky.
Where he played, we was in hell there.
Yeah, I don't remember. If
You
that
don't
one
remember Little
translates-
Nicky?
I don't remember if it translates to today.
Oh, it
I
was
feel like, yeah.
fucking hilarious.
Okay.
It was fucking
I gotta
hilarious.
revisit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious to see this Uncut Gems movie. He plays like a scummy jeweler with like Cartier frames and the like leather trench coat.
Yeah. It
looks
like,
good.
And like the weekend's like all up in there. Or something.
Yeah, I think so. I saw
don't
that.
know what,
I saw that.
right.
I gotta
Yeah,
check that
using
out.
that.
There's a lot of people I know in New York were like cast as extras, and a lot of like jewelers I know, like he rented their office to shoot it and shit. So
Definitely.
shout out to him, man. It's funny because a lot of people don't realize how this hip hop shit transcends. And every time I've ever met like an actor and I'm sure Lemmy is a prime example of whether it was YouTube people, what an influence hip hop culture has had on pretty much everybody from, YouTubers to, writers to producers.
Can I drop a little quick one? If the people knew the songs that we were listening to out in LA when we were filming before a TV show, these local Montreal songs with like 45 views on them, that just we all felt like, I'm just throwing a name like KD had a song called Haters Gonna Hate.
Okay.
Right? I don't know KD.
He's a Montreal artist?
He's a Montreal artist. I don't even know if he's still rapping, but good for KD that he had this track. And for whatever
What's
reason.
his like Nick, AKA or whatever?
I'm sorry?
Does he have like an AKA or whatever?
I don't know. I don't know the guy well at all, but I just
Okay.
know that we felt that song so much. We used to bump his track before we'd film, and that would be like our motivation. And there's a ton of those.
You should have got him a placement, you asshole.
Right? But
Instead of just playing it before.
Right. But it's just cool that like I wish these people knew the amount of shit that we were.
Speaking of Montreal artists, who are people that you've either wanted to collaborate with or have collaborated with that have stood out? Who are you checking for locally?
Locally?
Who in the Montreal scene do you either want to collaborate with
Honestly,
or
there's
do
this
you
there's this guy, he's like a young dude that like he's like a family friend of mine. I forgot his name, bro.
That's horrible.
It's honestly,
you failed miserably,
yeah,
CJ.
No. I really like
he's up and coming
hard
cat.
though. Like he got the kids dancing. So like I'm like looking towards that. But you gotta shout out like everybody in the city though. Like there's a lot of people coming up too.
No. I don't want you to shout out everybody. I want to know who are your picks. Who is fire to you? Who inspires you? Who are you checking for?
There's some fire. You got Miles Lloyd, who's a dope artist. He's I think he's from Laval.
Okay.
Yeah. If
English?
you haven't heard, yeah, he's English. He's young. Yo, I'm checking for the younger guys. Like,
Let us
you
know.
what I'm
Let us
saying?
know.
Like,
Who do we need to have on here?
Like, bro, like I said, there's this one dude. He's freaking fire, bro. But
You'll
I
send
can't
us the
even
link.
remember.
You'll send us the link.
I'm definitely gonna send you the songs. Who else is there? You know, like Mike Shab been buzzing in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
He's dope. I've been listening to his music for fun. You know, like just like you know, like he makes like that like youthful type music. You know what I'm saying? Like
What I liked about
tap in.
What I liked about him is going back to what you said about like no trap drums. I found the production that he chose to jump on was interesting for his age.
Right.
It was almost ASAP Mob-ish. It was almost New York-esque. With a twist of the new vibe. But I was impressed by him reaching back.
If you really
properly.
want to tap in, Brusky, also what you gotta do is you gotta listen to Numb Blonde.
Who?
Numb Blonde.
Okay.
Yeah, he a producer,
Okay.
but he's taking over like type shit. Like
Dope.
I see it that way. If no one sees it that way, then
Well, I trust your
like,
opinion. I'll definitely check him out.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and I keep it real. Like, it's like when there's a movement happening,
Mm-hmm.
like I see it, I sense it sometimes, and he's Numb Blonde got one going.
What kind of vibe would you say he's on?
Trap. He's on some. He killing it.
Like some Tommy Cruise kind of vibes, sort of, kind of.
Yeah, like they're both distinct in their own ways.
Of course.
Shout out to Tommy.
Tommy was on here. We had a great
Yeah,
talk
that's my
with Tommy.
broski.
Yeah. We did a nice day party. We did a great day party this summer at Riverside. We were all there. We did a launch for the podcast, and Tommy played. It was dope.
Tommy, man. I love Tommy. He's out here.
When I put my beard in the braid, he sent me a message. He said, "You're boom guy." I died.
Tommy's a unique character, bro.
Tommy would do some shit like that.
Gotta love Tommy. Shout out Tommy. So who else? Mike Shab, this Numb Blonde guy,
Yeah, which is a producer.
the youngin who you gotta send us a link to. The Youngin Link. We're gonna call him Youngin Link.
There you go.
Youngin Link. Straight out of Scarborough.
Let me think. Let me dive in right now. You got I got a shot at Crickstar.
Mm-hmm.
He makes really good music. He's from the West Island.
Dope.
super New York, I feel.
Interesting.
Like, yeah, like he doesn't do no regular shit. Like,
Very interesting.
yeah, it ain't corny either.
Most important.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to ride the wave.
Definitely. I've been looking too. So like I'm still on the lookout.
What about female singers?
Yeah, Sankia. There's this girl named Sankia. She's from Laval.
Mm-hmm.
She's yeah. Shout out to Sankia.
Got to check her out.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to start having some more women on the show. It's getting to be a real sausage fest here.
Any women would be nice?
Any. We should start with one.
There's been women in the room. That's the closest.
Well, females, I mean, shout out to Zayna. You know, like I be tapping in. Who else is there?
Is there anybody you like to work with when it comes to hooks? I know you must do a lot of your own hooks, but sometimes do you collaborate with other writers for top lines and shit like that? Is that something you do?
No, not really. But shout out to Devin. Dev is Devin. Yeah, shout out to him too. You got Spang Squire.
Shout out Spang. That's Dirt's artist.
Spang Squire.
Yeah, they came by the lab. We had a little listening session.
He's fire too. What else you got?
Nate.
Huss.
Right.
Huss is out here. You know, like.
So
this is fun.
I'm gonna compliment you by saying that by far, out of everybody we've had on the show, you've actually been able to give us the most names of people to check for, because we're always looking for new cats to bring up on here and to give a light to.
I've been doing like hip hop in Montreal since I was 12 years old, bro. Like, so like, you know, like I knew High Classified at that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like from that age to what we're at now, it's like how I look at the city is pretty broad. Like I could look at, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot.
Are you into the French scene at all? Is that something that you follow? Is there anybody
like, there are names that are popular.
There's this kid Zach Zoya that a few people talk to me about.
Are you considering him French?
I don't know. I haven't heard his shit. But I think he signed with like a French label, so it made me think, but is his shit English, Zach Zoya?
I haven't met Zach Zoya, but shout out to Zach Zoya. I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard good things about him.
He's out here.
We need to bring him up here.
He's definitely out here. You know, I'm pretty sure he makes English music, and yeah, talent in the city, bro. Talent.
Absolutely.
There's a K-Goon.
K-Goon. Yeah.
You know, shout out to K-Goon.
I was there that night when Noriega brought him on stage.
Oh, were you? Actually, I was there too, but I left, actually. No, wait. I don't know what happened, but I know at some point I had to like Dipset, and I left, and I wasn't able to see like the magic moment or whatever happened, but like shit.
Luckily, the entire thing was filmed. Dirtwork's a smart man. He called me. He said, "Bring your camera."
Right.
And Cena actually put it up on, I think it was Vice. It was on the front page of Vice the next day.
Okay.
And yeah, and they gave me credit, and my footage is on there. But
Dope.
yeah, he brought this kid. I mean, probably 4 times he got him to play his single during Noriega's set. He's just like, not played again. Crowd wants to hear it until he's jumping in the crowd.
That's
like,
dope.
Yeah, that was great. That was a good look for him. And
I remember that night like very vividly.
you know, Nori's a great example of what we're talking about, that, you know, he had that resilience to be able to readjust and to reinvent himself and to give himself a whole new relevance in the hip hop game.
Bless, I want that for us. I want that for you.
Hey man, I just thought of some French rap. Actually loud. Yeah. I be typing in loud.
Loud's the homie.
You know what I'm saying?
Loud's the homie. We're definitely gonna have him and the crew up here as well. I just think right now is probably the most interesting time ever for our scene locally. You know, we got guys like yourself, you know, releasing projects. We got guys like Loud that are finding tremendous success in Europe, and so many dope producers like Lunas, K Tranada just dropped a project. Shout out to K Tranada. We just had his brother Lou Phelps was on. So I mean, I think we have a shot at something very interesting, and I'm definitely very excited to check out your project.
It's bubbling, you know.
It's definitely bubbling, man. We got to keep it going. We got to keep it moving. What's the next single?
I have it in mind. It's like ready to go. I'm still like.
Are we gonna see a video anytime soon?
I'm just looking at a lot of shit, so I'm like, you know, pacing. Like I said, you know, I'm trying to go at my own pace, and like try not to rush. Like I like, even though like I'm seeing a lot of people come up with their own results, doesn't mean I have to rush mine and stuff.
Absolutely
like that,
not.
you know?
Mark,
So like
it's about the journey, man.
You know, because like you got to think about it too. Like there are people who try to, you know, talk to you and tell you about that, who are brainwashed by that specific thing, you know, which is like, it's very toxic for artists. So it's just like, you know, just always remember.
Tell me more about that. Talk to me more about that. Explain that.
You know, like I guess you could say, you know, like as an artist, you're new to this. You know, you're interested, you're intrigued. You know, you put up money because I mean, or if you can't afford it, you find your way. But
you got to,
you know,
somehow.
once you have content that you know you feel like you have something special that you want to present or like want to do or produce or execute. You know, don't let no one tell you like, you know, what you can and can't do. It's very corny. I know. I've been thinking about it.
You're talking about like what opportunities to take advantage of, or where to spend your money, or where to focus your energy on promoting your shit. Is that what you're getting
just
at?
Also you're just being about your craft. Like I'm talking about like kind of just how to be about your craft. You know?
Yeah, of course.
Like try your hardest. Just it's tough sometimes, you know. You have people who do have the best advice to you. You must have a listening ability. You know how to balance things, you know. But at the same time, don't let people tell you what you can and can't do. You know, when you know and you can see through the bullshit. You know, like it's just like just take a step and breathe. Like, you know.
And trust your gut.
It's tough to do that in the moment of things. Trust me. It's very tough.
Well, like the most cliche expression is hindsight is always 20/20.
Yeah, it happens to everybody.
You always look back and say, maybe if I had done that, but we don't have that ability in life.
But you know, you just keep pushing. It's everyone has a shot. I feel. You know, I'm only doing this because I believe in it so well. Like I just like there hasn't been anything like across my journey that would make me feel like, oh, I gotta give up right now. You know, like unless it has to do with like I guess my health, which like I do believe I'm very healthy. You know, so it's like I don't gotta really like,
let's keep it that way.
We can't really, you know, that would be the only way. You know, like, music is just
music is life.
Yeah, definitely.
Music is
and it
life.
travels, bro. Like I've had people. When I was really stunned was when I remember I got this message from a fan. I forgot where she was from, but she was like in a different continent, and she wrote a long message about a song that I put out a long time ago. I had a video for it, and she was like, "Yo, this record. I don't know what the song is at the end, cause like I previewed something." That never came out. It was like an exclusive. And she's like, I kept playing it over and over and over, and I couldn't find it, but like I kept playing that, and it helped me through, you know, the process of my mom going through cancer, because her mom was going through cancer and stuff like that. I really I took it really seriously. I remember driving, reading it out of my bed, I be checking my phone and shit. But like, yeah, I was driving, I checked my phone, I'm reading this message, and I was like, wow, I was stunned. I was like, music really travels that far. And then plus like everything. someone has a problem, if someone has a problem, they'll lean towards like music to help them, you know. And one of my songs caught that, like, you know,
You're helping
for
people.
someone to identify me and like and for me to acknowledge that is what made me grow as an artist too. You know, like I had to understand that. I was like, damn, this is real.
Music is a powerful language, very powerful language. And, you know, one of the, you know, upsides to, I guess, the whole social media era that we live in is the ability for fans to really connect with the artist, and for the artist to get feedback like that is dope.
Yeah.
Really dope.
No, definitely, man. I love seeing messages like that. It's like, it's real, it's genuine.
And you know what's great? That they're judging you on the music, not on your image, not on your marketing, not on your numbers,
your reputation,
etc.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, they don't even know you. Like, they just love the music. Bro.
To me, I always felt like the biggest compliment I could receive as an artist is when somebody was talking about the music. And when somebody was a real hip hop head and I could tell they really understood the culture, that was the highest compliment. People saying, "Oh, I caught your, you know, video on Much Music," or "I saw a poster," or, you know what I mean? I saw, you know, cool, thanks, but that's like a paid advertisement almost. You know what I mean? But for somebody to say, you know, I took in your record, I listened to the shit, and I fuck with it, to me was always the most rewarding.
Definitely.
Always the most rewarding.
Yeah. You know, it's also rewarding when you get that mean face in the studio.
Oh,
You
the
guys
Jay-Z
smell shit.
face.
You guys smell shit face.
The Jay-Z as at the Griselda session face. That's going around.
That's the craziest compliment, for real, man. It's dope, man.
What's the next step for you, sir?
What
are we doing? Where are we going?
Cruising, like trying to promote the album, meet people, you know, like travel, do shows.
Any touring
Make more
coming up?
music.
You have any shows coming up you want to talk to us about?
Still under wraps. Yeah, definitely still under wraps.
Getting the campaign, revving up the campaign now, getting it going.
I got to
He's
show
here.
him,
This is the
like-
first leg right now, right?
Yeah,
There you go.
definitely. There's a lot. I'm just looking at a lot, like I said, but they're like still under wraps. You know what I'm saying? So I'm taking it smoothly, like a day at a time.
Yeah.
Like really trying to just push this album out like as much as possible. And I had to put down a few albums just to get to this point. You gotta like take that into consideration. So like all the music that I'm sitting on is just like, yeah, I would love to. I'm like ready anytime, like to get back in the booth, reproduce, execute new ideas, you know, a new narrative for this, because like, yo, it's all about changing the narrative, you know, like
It's all about
shout out to
changing
you
the
guys
narrative.
for like not even mentioning like anything bad about the city up to this point. Like I, as an artist, I look at stuff like that, you know, like when people come up to me and they be like, you know, like Montreal's like lacking and this and that. It's like, oh, you're only saying that because you're just kind of upset in the moment, but like, you know, like it's a process that we got to go through.
Yeah, I mean,
You
listen,
know, and
let's build
I feel
something.
like it's like a disrespectful thing to say coming from Montreal.
Yeah,
you know?
why we have a beautiful city, we have a vibrant scene. Why put it down rather than build it up? You know what I mean? And that's what the conversation. Let's talk solutions. If there's a lack of funding and infrastructure,
Yeah.
let's come up with some shit. You know, be it a podcast, be it your project,
Exactly.
be it the producers that you're shouting out. Let's get on the same page.
Taking collaborations into consideration.
Hey man, Atlanta wouldn't be Atlanta if they weren't collaborating like fucking
I
crazy.
know. But that's what we don't understand out here. We actually, I think it's lacking.
But it only takes a handful of people like us to push it forward and
Yeah.
just to do it
Yeah.
and to lead by example.
It's true. That's very true. It'll happen. You know,
I think it's
guess
already
also-
happening.
Yeah.
I think the narrative is changing. The narrative is changing because people are much more aware now,
Talk
you
to
know,
'em.
and it's easier to reach people and connect with people. So, you know, I think
That's
we got to
true.
continue to push it forward. I think it's our responsibility to push it forward because it's something we're all going to benefit from in the long run.
And yo, don't sleep. There's always young bulls out here.
Absolutely.
Don't sleep. Like, you know, I remember when, like, I'm still young myself. Like, don't get it twisted. But I remember when I was like 12 years old or like 9, like 8, like I want to be a rapper. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like those kids, like there's magic there somehow, some way. Like if you catch something.
I was one of those kids. I started rapping
feel
at
me?
8 years old, my brother.
So
8 years
like
old.
you know, like just like always gotta like welcome those with open arms.
Absolutely.
And not like
Look at Jermaine Dupri. He made a career off
Right.
of he was like the first one pushing kids, like talented kids. And now I saw an interview with Jermaine Dupri and he was saying, yo, I literally made the blueprint because every rapper that's popping like now, the new cats are all under 21.
they're all under 21, right? That's crazy. But yo, those two, you could always pop at any age, man.
Right.
You know? But I feel you. Like there's a lot of them coming
Let me ask you,
around that age. Yeah.
speaking of 21, because it stuck out in my mind and it happened recently that Juice WRLD passed away and he was only 21 years old.
Yeah.
Did you were you up on his music? Did you fuck with Juice WRLD's music?
Yeah,
I
Juice
found
WRLD.
I found that out of the new cats, out of that genre, he was to me one of the top guys. I saw him freestyle and that's where he got my respect.
Right.
How do you feel about the drug culture with all this shit?
The drug culture? How do I feel?
I mean,
I don't have an opinion on that because you can do whatever you want in life, okay? I feel like if you want to go and do that, it's your decision, right? But like I don't even want to speak too much on the narrative cuz like
why not?
You know, first off, rest in peace to Juice WRLD.
Of course, rest in peace to Juice WRLD.
Bro, you know what I'm saying?
But don't you think it's something that needs to be
I just,
addressed?
Listen, not to cut you off, but like I just feel like the way he was set up, how could you blame that on the drug culture?
How do you mean?
How could you blame that on other people who are consuming it on a daily basis?
Well, I mean the narrative being it's cool to pop so many pills that people are ODing left and right.
But how did he OD? Like what?
He I think he took like a bunch of Percocets or something like that when he was getting off the plane because they were going to search the plane. I don't know.
Boom. So right there, you just said it. You know, like the situation that you're in. How could you look at someone else and say you can't pop Percocets? He's gonna look at you like, "What do you mean? Yes, I can."
But do you feel
It's like exiting a plane like that, and you know there's feds around, puts. And I hope this doesn't like. I hope I'm not saying too much, but like puts a lot of pressure. That puts a lot of pressure on you as a young 20. Like you're 21 years old and you're a superstar, hopping off a jet, and there's feds. The first thought is obviously like I don't know how it played out, bro. I can't tell you, Bless, bro.
Well,
but all I'm saying is,
I'm not really speaking
if there's so
specifically.
much feds around, bro. You're
I'm not
sitting here saying, "Yo, I'm about to pop. I need to hide this."
Yeah, I guess, but
It's fucked up.
it is. It's a fucked up situation. But I'm not really talking about what happened to Juice WRLD specifically that day.
Right.
I mean, more the culture has become. It went from being a hustler, being a dope boy, right, to being a consumer, to taking the shit, right?
Like
that's
that's what it is?
something that's changed in the culture.
Wow.
Where a lot of these cats glorify gratuitous drug use, and it turns some of them into junkies and ultimately, leads to people ODing. Did you know that I saw somebody was talking about Future for the first 3 years of his career didn't do drugs. And he was pushing that Percocet, Molly Percocet.
It's so funny. Like
That's fucked up.
I find
If
it
that's
funny
true,
how,
it's
like,
fucked up,
it's true.
right?
But yo, bro, I can name drop so many people. Like I can name drop someone big right now that like, it's like we all talk about. It's so weird. Like I don't know how to tell you how this life is, bro. But when as entertainers, like that's how people turn up. Our audiences are turned up like that. I don't know.
I mean, that's always been
is that,
in the
is that how you would say
Yeah,
it?
totally. I mean,
Like-
look, in the 60s, you know, in our parents' times, in our grandparents' times, the fucking Woodstock was full of drugs, right?
Yeah.
All the biggest rock artists were on LSD
what
or
I'm
whatever
saying?
they were tripping on.
They're actually coming out to have a good time. Good times, you know, sometimes it's not such a good time. Sometimes it's actually your time to go. It's weird, right?
It's
But,
very weird,
That's
and it's
a
very
timing
dark.
thing. That's a timing thing.
But when hip hop was about hustling and smoking some weed,
Right.
what are the kids who are diehard hip hop fans idolizing the artist? They're gonna smoke some weed.
Right.
They're gonna freestyle in a cipher. They're not gonna pop pills until they
You're
die.
saying now they're popping.
It's
pills
shifting,
a
yeah.
lot.
And we're gonna see, you know, Mac Miller and Juice WRLD and all these talented young guys who had this amazing.
There's never been like in the past, like I mean, and sorry, like if I don't know my hip hop right now, but I'm just saying like back in like not the 90s, the 80s or whatever.
Not pills.
Anyone died
Not pills, I don't
off
think.
pills? No.
Nope. Not
No.
off crack, not off coke,
It's
not
like,
off
it's
pills.
never ever happened. So I get what you're saying, you know, and
Because who's influenceable?
I feel
It's
like
not guys
that's
like
the-
us.
you-
We're adults.
You could
It's
also
kids.
blame technology, like you know, like you could also blame something like technology. Like where the fuck are all these pills coming from, right? Like were you able to produce those pills back in the day, or is it just actually a change of narrative?
I'll answer
In the-
that. In my opinion, the pills were more in rave culture, more in after hours. It was less of a hip hop thing. It was more of like a suburb.
Right. And
white
now what's
kids going
happened
to
is
raves
that
in the 90s.
festivals became a thing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And then that's where it leaked into that.
And festivals,
Yeah.
the audience at festivals, we already know what's going on.
Sure, of course.
That's what they do. And now that's what we're feeding off to be able to.
So do you think the artists
it's like-
are feeding off of what's going on at the festivals to attract the fans, or are the
Listen,
fans
I'm
doing this at the festival?
I have no clue.
to mimic
Chicken
the
or the
artists.
egg?
I'm really just.
It's an interesting
I'm
conversation.
going back
though.
and forth with you right now. And
It's an
I could
interesting
say that,
conversation.
like you might not be wrong about thinking that theory, but it's like shit. it's so deep.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation that we definitely have to explore more because, again, it goes back to there's got to be people preserving this
yeah.
culture, saying like, "Yo,
hip-hop
this is not
is
the move."
pop now.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we've actually been through a good stage of that for a couple of years now.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, of course.
And it's kind of maybe, I would say maybe we're at that point where we're actually kind of fading away from hip hop being pop.
You know,
right now.
50.
It's all Latin and world music
it's
now.
going somewhere else.
It's
50
like,
Cent
Afro beats
and
that kind of stuff.
Akon, 50 Cent and Akon didn't even drink alcohol.
50 Cent and Akon.
Didn't even drink alcohol.
Oh, where?
Interesting.
No, Akon, I believe. That's like,
No, he's Muslim.
like, come on, bro.
No,
You're
he's
crazy.
Muslim. I party with him personally on his
Yeah,
tour bus many
definitely.
times. He loves chicks, but he doesn't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
And 50 wasn't drinking, was working out like a beast.
Right.
You know, like everybody always had their angle, but to be honest, M was the only one that we knew of in the culture really
And we almost
experimenting
lost him
like
after
that.
Proof died. He could have very easily.
You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, it is.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to all those legends. bro.
I just thought Pimp C
Lean,
died off lean.
Lean.
What's his name? The DJ Screw.
lean.
Okay, I'm just saying.
My boy
That
Moss,
happened.
lean.
Right.
I believe that and it's great point that the segue from, you know,
Puffing weed to
Exactly.
Those are
lean.
big moments.
from being hustlers who just puffed weed and didn't touch it to going into a heavy drug culture was probably the lean era, right? The Houston, the chop and screw,
Right.
the South, that influenced guys like Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne made that
So let
scissor.
me go a little one step further, Bless.
Yeah.
Your background is like a more of a New York East Coast thing. So what you saw was one the right way in your mind, right? Which
Everybody wanted to be a hustler. Nobody wanted to be a junkie.
But you
It
didn't
was
grow up-
embarrassing. Once upon a time, it was embarrassing. Like for street dudes, they would look at you like a junkie.
Right.
If you were doing certain shit.
Right. But
It was unheard of.
But you weren't down south. You didn't know that mentality. That mentality is completely different.
When I used to go to Miami to visit my boys in Miami, I saw they were very into the lean. And this is already in 2005.
Okay.
2005.
They were already in the lean. And I was in the back seat of one of my homies' cars, Spanish dude, face full of tattoos, long beard. This is when Rick Ross like maybe put out his first single,
Right.
Hustling. Like this is early Miami. Pitbull's still a rapper
Yeah,
with
that's
cornrows
super-
and a
that's
basketball
super
jersey.
early.
And I used to go out there and record with these guys, and they had this big styrofoam cup with lean in it, and it was like a new wave. And I'd heard people rapping about it, but I was kind of like, I was a young kid too, right?
Okay.
So he said, "Yo, take a sip of this." And everybody who knows me, like I don't even smoke weed. Like that's it. I was just drinking. I took one sip of that shit, and
It got fucked up.
I took a big gulp as if like it would be like a like a vodka soda, right? Like a full.
Oh,
and they
yeah?
were like, yo, slow down,
Oh, yo, chill.
right? I swallowed it, because I thought I was a big shot. Pause, and the entire back of my skull just tingled all the way down to my spine, and it literally felt like like one shot of this.
That's crazy.
So that scared the shit out of me. I gave the cup back and I was like, I would never try that shit again.
Oh, what?
And all that to say, a good friend of mine who I was there that day with sitting in that car ended up passing away maybe only a year or two later
For real?
from whatever. I could only imagine.
Oh, you don't know.
all the things.
No, I would think it was that.
Right.
That lean shit destroyed
Oh,
a
you
lot
felt the
of lives.
sensation.
I mean, when I felt that sensation off of one big sip, it would have been insane to drink a whole cup like this of it. It's powerful stuff, And to me, it's like, bro, at the end of the day, good music is good music, but we got to be careful what we glorify because, it's a big trade-off to say everybody's, Molly Percocets, but when people start dropping dead, it's not that fun anymore. You've got to be responsible.
What's that song called? Is it Codeine Brazy?
I mean, I'm sure there's so many.
I don't remember what it's called, but bro, that song is so hard, bro.
Hard, very
It's
hard,
Like the hardest song ever, man.
very hard.
You know what I'm saying?
But
Mask off.
why can't the production stay the same? And I'm not talking about every
feel
record.
you.
I'm not talking about every record has to be fucking praise Jesus and every peace and love.
Right.
Say the street shit. But
No, definitely.
what I loved about this culture is it was honest. You weren't glorifying, you were giving an up and a downside. You were painting a picture. This is what it feels like to be a hustler. This is what it looks like to be a street guy. But this is the downfall. You understand what I mean? You were giving it to people real.
Right.
Rather than just turn up, and drop dead, God forbid. It's irresponsible. So me
feel you.
personally, that's my take on it.
I like it. Quote bless. Just irresponsible.
I feel
It's
you.
irresponsible, man. You know what I mean? You could tell, like gun bars, right? Like when I was coming up, heavy gun bars, you'd battle dudes and say, I'll pop you with the 9 and I'll
Right.
shotgun it. But,
Yeah.
nobody likes to get punched in the face. Or, when it would really go to a level of violence, everybody would be like, oh shit, it's just hip hop. So I was always, as an artist, conscious of what you will into existence, meaning if I talked street shit, it was responsible street shit. It was honest street shit. It wasn't glorifying it for some little kid to take, one line and take it seriously. You know what I mean? Because he has a, bad parental situation or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Kids, it's always kids who are influenced by the shit, not grown men.
That's true.
And they're not fully developed.
Right. Not yet. They don't know what they're doing.
You know what I mean? So I'm saying talk all that fly shit, talk all that street shit, turn up all you want, be ratchet, but give the other side to that. Right? Don't just
How do you
lead
present the
people
other
off
side?
the bridge.
Like, tell them, bro.
Well,
Like,
you tell
how
them, oh shit, we could fly and but oh, by the way, if you jump off this ledge, and you don't have a parachute,
Right.
you're gonna die.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just, hey, yo, this shit is all fly.
Music
but
doesn't. The music. See, we don't really pay attention to wanting to complete the narrative for you like that.
But my favorite artists, the icons, the Jays, the Bigs, the Nas's, the whatever you're into,
Right.
they always gave you
All the time,
both
right?
sides.
Right.
There'd be a conscious record on, you know what I mean? There'd be the single, there'd be the joint for the chicks. That's what I felt being a well-rounded artist was all about. Why the fuck would anybody want to listen to 12 or 15 of the same fucking song
That's a
over
Papa
and
Bear.
over and over again? Great example of that. And I actually fuck with his music heavy. The Baby.
Okay.
I think The Baby is one of the more interesting of the newer cats. I heard him on, I think it was LA Leakers. He impressed me. He's fire. But there's this ongoing thing that every track that The Baby puts out kind of sounds like the last Baby track. You know what I mean? And
It's his thing. It's his thing.
is it his thing, or is he going for an easy win?
I don't think it's the.
Is he the guy at the
I
bar
don't think
mitzvah
it's
that
easy.
keeps playing Cyndi Lauper and Madonna and girls just want to have fun and Beastie Boys, Brass Monkey and Eminem? La, la, la,
You know
la, la.
how you know
Is
how
that
I
hard
look at
to
it,
do?
Bless? You know how I look at it? I look at it as like just the perfect stamp. Cause then when you go around and like you're trying to identify, there's so much music out now. Like The Baby knows how to be distinct and set himself and stand out.
He's certainly doing something right, don't get me wrong.
You know what I'm saying?
But what's the difference between an icon and a legend? In your opinion?
Icon
And a legend.
That's a great question.
In my opinion, there's a lot of legends and very few icons. There's a lot of people who've done legendary shit, meaning they've put out great songs or they've had an impact, a sales impact. And after a while, if they continue, that's some legendary shit. Okay? That's why we throw this.
So
we
I
throw
don't
this
mean to cut you, but
bullshit legend
because
shit all
they
the time.
do legendary shit, does that make them a legend?
Personally, I don't think so. But everybody gets called a legend. It's almost cliche now. Oh, this guy fucking put out 5 albums on. He's a legend. But guess what? None of them are icons.
Right.
Who's an icon? The big guys are icons, right? What's the difference between Kendrick, a Kendrick, a Jay, and a Cole, and everybody else in the market? They don't fucking do the same song over and over again. They take risks with their art.
I see you.
Drake is very versatile. That's what makes him dangerous.
Right.
Cole evolves as an artist. Kendrick evolves the people see that long term. That's what makes them iconic. And throwing around that legend shit to me is bullshit.
Right.
Right?
I know what you mean.
Is anybody who's washed up a legend just because they did some cool shit?
Right.
So to me, I always look at what separates iconic artists from, let's not call them legends, but people who have a buzz.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's being able to reinvent and take artistic risks.
I agree.
You know?
Like, I guess someone who's an icon right now is like Abel.
Yes. Yes, he's going to be an icon because he came out with his own sound. Yes, he must have been inspired by Michael Jackson and all, Prince and all kinds of people, but he didn't fucking sound like them. And he carved his own lane, and his music is not all like one dimensional. You can't say every single sounds the same.
Fact.
Iconic shit.
Yeah. Also, but not about sound, bro. Like, yo, he took it to another level.
Oh, visuals, all that.
Nah, not even, bro. Like,
Live
I'm talking
performance?
about like attitude, a personal like characteristics.
You mean like keeping himself mysterious?
It's just like he was able to be an icon with that. Like if you could reinvent your personality over.
It's true.
It's like there are certain people who've done that. I can't name them off top right now. But, there are artists who keep it consistent, and there are artists who reinvent themselves personality-wise. You know
And
what I mean?
think we would call those people real artists.
Right.
I think we sugarcoat so much shit now because
Political correct.
yeah, there's this narrative where, you know, everybody wants to be inclusive and nobody wants to be the bully, you know, on social media. And this is not because I said I actually like the baby. I think he could spit. I think he's a very interesting artist.
I fuck with the baby so hard. He's
Yeah, I
crazy.
fuck with him.
Yeah,
I just
crazy.
I want to hear what he sounds like on other shit because I think his potential's amazing. You know,
Have you heard his album though?
I mean, I've heard all of his singles. They're all good, but they all, you know, they all sound like, you know, very
Me
similar.
personally, like the baby did it for me, like on his album, because like he had the singles, and then boom, when his album came out, I was like, okay, you giving me new shit. Like, you know, I felt like, okay, you're being yourself on some new production, and it's different. So,
Okay,
like,
well, you know, I gotta check. I gotta dig a little deeper.
That's just how.
But
I
the
feel.
conversation's bigger than just the baby.
It's
you know
so.
what I'm saying?
I hear you, bro.
It's bigger than
I
him.
hear you,
It's
definitely.
like, you
I hear
know, you got to take risks as an artist, or
to
you ain't
like,
shit.
Yeah, to like be about your craft.
You know what I think held Eminem back? All his singles had to be the same slapstick humor, the same fucking satire.
you're saying-
he stuck to that.
yeah.
He stuck to that.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and then later in his career, I believe, just as a fan, I'm speaking, it
Yeah, what
might
happened?
it might have hindered him that he kept, you know, wanting to jump on these like rock anthems. I'm not afraid. He figured they would be an easy win.
Are you not a fan of that song?
No, it's definitely not my favorite song.
Oh, for real.
I fuck with Eminem like everybody does. As a lyricist,
Listen,
you got to respect
I
him.
just
but-
got to get this clear. Like, I fuck with that song. Like,
Really? You liked
heavy.
it? Yeah. Wasn't my
'Cause,
favorite.
Listen, like, to me, that's the last song that like Eminem had real success with. Like, and it's not to disrespect his catalog of music as of late, just personal taste. To me, Not Afraid was the last one that I felt like really had an impact in my life. Like the new M&Ms aren't really touching me as of late. I'll be honest with him.
But because he has that ironclad respect, because everybody, you know, unanimously fucks with M as they should,
Yeah.
he could have done so much more musically. He could have worked with anybody he wanted. No producer would say no to working with M. He's a giant. Why didn't he? I don't know.
Everyone has their own story, man, and like their own pace, like I said. You
Or
know?
their own script
He's at-
that they stick to,
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
that they're scared to break out of.
He's at his own script and pace and everything. Like, you know, he's had his run, bro. Not a lot of people get the run that Eminem
Oh,
has had.
of course
So you
not.
you can't really bash those legends or icons. If
I'm
you
not
wanna
bashing.
say.
I'm
I'm speaking
fan
in
of the
general.
culture.
I'm definitely speaking in general.
No.
Yeah.
I don't take it personally, but what I
Feel
mean
me,
is
yeah.
like, I'm somebody who is for pushing the culture forward.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And I want to see the icons curating this whole shit and pushing the younger cats like a Jay-Z must have gave J. Cole a lot of great direction. And then J. Cole on his own, when he matured as an artist and a writer, really fucking got it.
Shout out to J. Cole, one of my biggest inspirations
As he should be.
in this game. You know, like, you know, I've had
Guy who took risks. A guy like yourself who, you know, very hands-on with everything.
around the same time that I started taking my craft, like, technically, like I started getting around the time I started getting technical with my craft, it was when I like discovered J. Cole for the first time and Drake and like Lil Wayne. Like it was Lil Wayne first, but after that came Drizzy, and then Cole was like
Speak
there
to
was
me
like
about
an
Lil Wayne.
era where like it was
Do
Cole
you
and-
there was always this debate with Lil Wayne. Undeniable catalog, undeniable. He has so many records, but a lot of people felt like Wayne was overrated. There's always this debate where people either think he's one of the greatest of all time or they don't
Overrated.
fuck with him.
Yeah, I don't.
overrated, G? How could you say
Yeah,
Wayne is overrated?
Wayne's a top.
I didn't
10
say.
max.
I didn't say Wayne is
I'm
overrated.
speaking, I'm speaking
saying
for I'm speaking for you and like everyone who like
Many-
loves Wayne. It's like
many conversations I've had with a lot of people who felt like Wayne doesn't resonate with them.
it's cool. It's cool. I feel like he's not for everyone. You know, Wayne's not for everybody, bro. But like, you know, he does
He's a
have
beast.
something special, and like he's like a moment in hip hop history.
He set the blueprint. Him and Gucci, man. Him and Gucci definitely set the blueprint for having that. They took Tupac's business model on steroids, where put out 100 joints, bam, 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 put out a project every month, boom, 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 flood the market.
Worked.
It worked.
The Leak, volume
Like
1, 2, and
they
3.
both did it on their own. You're saying? Mm-hmm. Talk to them.
So they were definitely revolutionary with changing the business model of how music got released, and then they benefited amazing. I don't know what came first, but the streaming benefited them tremendously, right? Because if you put out a project every month or 100 tracks a year, you're going to stream way better than a guy who puts out 10 songs a year or 10 songs every 2 years, which is why a guy like Drake ended up doing
Why do you think
albums.
that happens?
Why do I think well, it's just a numbers game, right? If your shit's floating
right.
around the algorithm, more of it's floating around, more people are going to go to your shit.
But the algorithms are popping once the streamings come into play.
Well, I think once a guy like Drake or Wayne or anybody who has a big fucking light on them put out a single, it's gonna get playlisted, it's gonna get loved no matter what. And the way that the streaming numbers work is, I think the more content you feed it, the better you do ultimately.
Right.
Because it forces the sales to go up because they stream double for it being a long project.
See, what I was getting into is like, to me, that's just like building trust with your fans, bro. You know, like you have a fan base that knows you're coming with some new shit, like, and they love it. You know, that's all it is. You know, like they've been doing it before Spotify. Then, like at this point, they know, like.
But
like
Spotify
like
really,
it's gonna
like
pop now.
it benefited them even more, right? Because
Right.
you're right, Gucci was doing that pre-Spotify.
Exactly.
But once that Spotify came, it's crazy.
It is a different game, bro.
Very different.
We can't forget that as we're in this industry. It's a different game, like the whole mixtape thing and the Spotify thing. But
I think it's healthy. I think it makes it evens the playing field. When you got a project like Gangstar's new project streamed 77 million times,
Gangsta,
that's healthy. You know, it's healthy that underground hip hop,
Right.
traditional hip hop can get healthy streams like that. And it just goes to show now the consumer is able to vote
right?
themselves. It's not a label with a fake narrative. Numbers don't lie. People, there is a market for this. There is a market for this. There is a market for
everything.
this. Now and we're able to see the analytics. So I think it's a very healthy and interesting time that we're going into.
Absolutely, man. And it's only getting bigger, I hope. And like people are starting to just like learn more and be more like there's a lot of like people are doing it on their own more. You know, that's what I love about this game.
Yeah, and steel sharpens steel.
Like I've been producing on my own type thing. You know, like people who've been inspiring me to do that is like Russ, Travis Scott.
Hell yeah.
You know, like you just fall in love with the music, man. Like, and yeah, like all that algorithm stuff, like that's all business. Like we all know,
It's never going anywhere.
yeah, it doesn't go anywhere. It's there. It changes. You gotta adapt to it. You know, like
Goes back to
yeah, exactly.
resilience,
Boom.
being able to adapt,
Yeah, facts.
talent, and the intelligence
Yeah,
to do it.
exactly.
Continued success, my brother. Thank you so much for coming. We're going
I
to continue
appreciate
this
you.
conversation off camera.
No, definitely.
And let's continue to build and collaborate and build our beautiful city up.
And I just want to say once again, thank you guys for having me. For
Respect,
real.
brother.
Thank you
Shout
for
out to
coming,
you.
CJ.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
M.O.T. Podcast, your boy Bless. CJ Flemings in the building. Let me know. Peace.
Yeah, represent one time on the M.I.C.